Okay, so you guys can see my screen. So we're going to go over, this will be heavy on the plan for the EPSL game on Sunday to prepare for it. So we're going to, first I'm going to show you how Danubia plays so that you can have that in your head when we go through how we would defend it and attack it. So Danubia likes to play with a 4-2-3-1. So I've laid it out there in black here. Okay. They like to keep a double pivot. They like to keep two players back because there's really nowhere for them to go because they keep their wingers very narrow. The way they'll describe it is zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. So just splitting, you guys refer to, some people refer to that as zone 2 and 4 as the half spaces. So splitting the pitch widthwise into 5 zones. So they like to have their fullbacks are their width. They don't really have any other natural width. The wingers generally do not go wide. It doesn't mean they never do. It just means that generally they like them to occupy zones 2 and 4. It's like they play with 3 10s. This is going to have some interesting effects, as you'll see. So it's very difficult for them to build out of the back because of this. So to build through the fullbacks, I should say. So they try to build through their double pivot in the middle. So it's very critical. Well, before we get into defense, I'll just show you. So they build through the middle, which means it's very critical that our 8 and 10 are able to stop their double pivots. We do defense first. This is how you win games for senior teams. It's why we lost our last game. We got off our script of defense first. This is not a recreation league where everybody's in it just to score. You have to play defense. I will be making significant changes going forward for guys who just do not play defense. So if you can stop their double pivot and the nine can force the ball to be passed quickly and our wingers can stop their fullback, you're off to a good start. They like to move the ball through the middle and cycle it. They're Ross Holden, who will either be playing their 6 or the 8, is extremely good at unmarking. He's at our practices sometimes, and I tell people to mark him, and they cannot stay with him. Even though we're literally training man-to-man defense, and their only job is to follow Ross, they somehow still lose him. So I still don't know who I'm going to put on Ross, but let's say if this was Ross, that guy's going to have his hands full. First time we played them, I sent 3 guys out there to mark Ross, and they all lost him. It was like unreal. I told them your only job is to follow Ross around, and they lost him. He's very good at unmarking. So he will find a way to get the ball if you're not careful, and then he will progress the ball. And he has a lot of options to progress the ball through the middle. He's not going to have an option out wide, especially if our wingers handle their fullbacks. So they're going to try to move the ball through the middle. If they fail, they don't mind so much because they're already in a good defensive shape. Their fullback is still holding, right? So they still have a back 4, and they have 2 center defensive mids. So they don't really mind if they pass the ball in and it fails. Again, this is a great defensive shape. So trying to go through the middle and turning it over is not really a problem. And their center defensive mid Ross is very good on the ball, so he will not just turn it over for us. So we just want to make sure that when Ross goes to play the ball forward, we do contain these guys, and we'll get to that next level now. It's going to be very important. And I don't know who I'm putting here, so I put down Nana for now and Wilson to basically play as wingbacks, as you'll see when we break out. But we're going through the defense first. Their job will be to mark one of the 3 10s, as we call them. So 4, 2, 3, 1. It's basically 4 forwards. It's like they play with a striker and like 3 attacking midfielders. it's going to mean that you're almost playing like a center defensive mid. It's like we basically have to play like 3 CDMs to counteract this. And this is why I like personally like our system, because our defensive system is extremely flexible and allows us to do that, to just match up with this. A normal defense would give them space like this. Watch. It might give them space, and now you would be outnumbered. You'd have to drop the 8 in, and you'd still be outnumbered 3-2. They would be buzzing all around you, and you would be outnumbered. Because if your fullbacks hang back, they're going to dominate you in this area. And if you saw it, the first time we played them, I had to, they were buzzing around, and we had to tell Gian and I think it was actually Cesar at the time. We had to tell Gian and Cesar to man mark Scotty, their coach who was on the field, who's very good, and Rodney. They were doing rotations and just losing and just running rampant inside there. And if they were able to get a ball through to one of their fast forwards, which they have very good players. Okay, this is not the Danubia team of years past. They have very good players that will hurt us if we leave them open. I think we're done taking teams lightly, correct? I think so. After last night, I think that we can put that to bed. So as you can see, this would be a disadvantage. If we tried to defend this straight up 4-2, they're going to have an advantage over us in the middle here. This is why I love our defensive system. Like, it's a 3v2 there. This is a problem. So you'd have to drop your 10 all the way back too. And now if you do this, you've almost lost all your attack. So I like to hold this here, and I simply want our fullbacks, who are now basically midfielders. They're basically center mids, to come up, and we defend. And we know our system. If these guys try to rotate now, if he tries to check in, he gets fouled. And now you're basically like a 10. Wilson would be like a 10. So you guys got to be flexible, and Gian would follow him. And then he runs into the space. In another system, he might be able to receive the ball here. But in our system, Mandel will follow him. By the way, this is why we lost the game, because we just completely refused to run our system for the most part. I was very disappointed. You may be playing there. No, I don't know. It depends. Right now, this is how I have it set up. So let me go back, bring the guys back again. It's not really a right back. It's more like a center mid you would be playing if I do it, as you'll see. Because they do not play wide. You'll rarely ever be out wide. So we still keep our +1 no matter what to put out fires. Okay, we always keep our +1 to put out fires. They are very compact here. We have to stay here because now how do they attack then? What they try to do is get the ball in. They try to Ross will unmark himself. This guy will check in, try to drag the fullback in, our fullback. And if let's say our guy is over here, not paying it, back here, they'll try to draw in the fullback to create space, and then they will overlap with their fullback, and they will try to bounce it or just bounce it to the 5 and hit the fullback. Now, this is easily defensible if we run our system. If we don't run our system, yeah, they'll be able to do it. And Marcelo will have to chase balls down all the time, which is fine, but there's a better way. Because now Marcelo is receiving the ball on the sideline with a guy on him. This is not optimal. I mean, it neutralized the attack, but they still got the ball forward with ease. So this is much simpler, and I'll show you. Marcelo should be ready, but if I want Wilson to follow this guy in our system. Follow him. Okay. First off, Gian should have been on him, but let's say he gets unmarked. When this guy goes to make the run, Kimoy, DeAndre, should just simply contain him. Don't be running behind him. Like, stay in front of him. And then they'll send this, if they send the ball, this is easy. And then DeAndre plays it back to Marcelo, who can now play forward. Or it's played, and now Marcelo can get it, and DeAndre can peel off, and Marcelo can simply pop, as he gets pressed, can pop it to DeAndre. We have a 2v1 created. And this is how you will neutralize that attack. We will get the ball, and not only will we retrieve the ball when they send it forward, but we'll be able to launch a counterattack. So those watching this on tape, if you do this, this will start our offense. Okay, so that is basically their main method of attack through the wing. I told you they also like to attack through the middle and through overloads. They try to overload what we call zone 14. Well, basically the zone in front of our center backs, they try to overload that with 3-10s. So let's set it up again. So they have two methods of attack. They try to overload the middle, which we can neutralize if we mark our guys. We mark our players, that is neutralized. If everyone's marked, this is completely neutralized. If we're not marked, and this guy stays out here, and this guy stays out here, well, now Asher goes to control the 10, which he will do because Asher does his job. Asher will be completely outnumbered if wherever I stick as our wing backs just stays back. You're just going to be allowing these guys to just receive in space. And now we're in trouble. Now he can make a run, drag Asher out. This guy can come central. I mean, it's just a disaster. So let's see how it should look. When they come in, Asher will have his guy. And whoever I make as our wing backs should become basically center mids. Marcelo would still be free to put out any fires. So we match them. They can now no longer overload us in the middle. Okay, so showing this again, they cannot overload us in the middle now. If they try to rotate and try to drag us out of position to maybe move the 10 over here, it's not a problem. We just follow them. Okay, we follow them. And they will do this. And as long as we follow our guys, everything will be contained. If you don't, like we did, if you don't, like we saw last night, where guys go off script and abandon our tactics, then yeah, they will have success. They may not score a lot, I don't know, but they will have success against us for their system. We can completely neutralize their system if you guys follow what I'm showing you. So here's a 10. So 4-2-3-1. Okay. So I think I went over now how to neutralize their attack. Now I'm going to go over how to counterattack them. We already showed a little bit on how to help that counter. So now if you'll see, let's show again if they try this little maneuver here. Where's Jay Wilson? If they try this maneuver where they check in to try to draw, let's say our 9 is pressing and their center back comes out and they try to draw Wilson in and go over the top. This would work if DeAndre doesn't follow him. And like we talked about, yeah, Marcelo can put the fire out, but now Marcelo's 1v1 facing the wrong way, right? What we prefer is DeAndre follows the run, stays in front, and now we have a 2v1 where if Marcelo gets it, DeAndre can pop out, and while he gets pressed, can simply play to him, and we're off to the races. There's other scenarios where if they play the ball and Marcelo is waiting for it, okay, and it might even be played from here. Let's give an example where it's played from here. I want you to tell me where the space is now. Where's the space when Marcelo wins the ball? Anyone?
Did you say
Where's the space? What space has
where's the
Danubia left
space
open?
when you slip the ball?
Over the top left-hand corner. All that space
Yeah,
back.
this is typical of teams that push their fullbacks up.
For Wilson to run into that space, correct? Or for
So
DeAndre?
Wilson, yeah, Wilson. It could be either Wilson or it could be DeAndre. So this is why we have Wilson and Nana there, because we're going to counterattack them. It could also be DeAndre. So you play, literally, we need to send this ball and we need to make the run. You won't even be offsides because they'll be keeping you on. You need to make these runs. We're going to.
What team does this mimic as, like, because obviously you do say like there's Leeds and there's Atletico.
What team is Danubia mimicking?
But that's more defensive. But in terms of attack, like what team? Yeah. Or like what team? Professional. Like obviously, because you just say like Leeds and
So Real Madrid under Mourinho used to play like a 4-2-3-1. And he would be fullbacks up high. Now they could in my opinion, they can get away with it because they're Real Madrid and they're on the attack most of the time.
Yeah.
I feel like this formation is very susceptible to counterattacks. So you better be just like Barcelona does the same thing, right? Jordi Alba comes up, correct? Yep. Man City might do the same thing at times, but they have, their goal is to they have
as well during the time.
Yeah, they keep possession very well, and they also have mechanisms that when they lose possession, to get to stop forward passes right away to gain possession right back. So if you don't have those mechanisms in place, this is actually very dangerous to play, in my opinion. And you guys know I've coached it. I've said my piece on this, but this is the way they play. So this is what we're facing. I don't think if they change the way they play before next game, congratulations, then they'll have an advantage over us possibly. But we have to just assume that they're going to play the way that they've been playing. So we're going to look to exploit the space vacated by their overlapping fullbacks, just like anybody would do. I mean, Mourinho used that technique to beat Barcelona as well. When Barcelona would push their fullbacks forward, that was exactly what he tried to exploit. He have guys, just sending balls into the areas and try to exploit the space vacated by Jordi Alba. So we're going to do the same thing. And that's what we're going to look to do, which is what we should be doing anyway a lot with our Leeds defense, because we play man-to-man defense. Whenever they make a forward run, any of their players, the space is always behind them now because we're always goal side. So the space for your guy is either going to be, you can easily exploit the space on the other side of your player. The deeper they go, the deeper they go towards our goal, the more space they create behind them. We need to look to exploit that, and not just like blasting the ball forward, but like looking to exploit that space through balls or little chip balls. So I hope that makes sense as far as now, how do we break out on offense? So besides just that simple counterattack, what if that's not on and we have to break out into so let's say we're in a defensive shape right now, right? And now Marcelo wins the ball. He should play it forward. Let's say for whatever reason he got caught back and he's just turned around, right? And he has to play to pan. Okay, we need to spread out against this team. It's going to be very dangerous to not keep enough players back, because how many players are they attacking with? Not even counting the fullback. 4 players centrally. So we really have to be careful here on how we approach our offense of shape in the back. This is why we're going to go with what will look like 3 in the back, you'll see. So we're going to spread out. In this case, Dibba would drop in, and if and Asher is going to drop, Nana is going to spread out. We're going to spread out into a back 5. Okay. We're going to spread out into a back 5. The wing at this point, if DeAndre went here, then Wilson would become the winger. Okay. even though it should have been Wilson. It's okay. We're flexible, right? And who better to have at wing than, I mean, Wilson will be fine, right? And DeAndre will be able to handle being a wing back. He's a winger. He can handle being a wing back, right? So we're gonna spread out, and similar to the way we played against Real Central, which we were successful, and it was very simple for us to understand it. And the advantage of this is, I'm a big believer in scanning and you guys checking your shoulders, but you know, none of us are Xavi level of checking our shoulders and scanning yet. So this actually also keeps everything in front of you. If you see, like, everyone's in a position where, except for the two central midfielders, everyone can kind of see the whole field. So I like this to kind of simplify the game to get a result. Like, we need to get a result with our senior team. All right. If you want a practice game, come to the Casa game on Saturday, and you can fuck around and learn. I don't really care about the results in the Casa game. I care about learning in the Casa game. In the senior team, I want to get a result. So I feel like the three in the back, just understanding we have three in the back, will help us. And it also simplifies the midfield. It unclogs our midfield to make it look a little easier. Gian likes to check in, so it's possible I put him there, but I don't know yet. No position is set right now. I'm evaluating everything, especially after last game. But yeah, he would be the single pivot, and you know, it would look like a 3-3-1-3, or you can call it a 3-4-3. Call it whatever you want. 3-3-1-3. It's the same thing. 3-3-1-3. We've gone over this on tactics too, right? 3-4. This would be the 4 right here, right? A 3-4-3. You can call it a 3-4-3 diamond. Call it whatever you want. Some people call it a 3-3-1-3, but it's essentially the same thing. It's just semantics. So the key is 3 central players. Now, let me just show you how we would transition back to defense if we did lose. Well, first of all, this is a good shape to be in, because I'm going to show you how easily we can now transition back to defense against this team. Look at these 4 players they have there. Right? Yeah. Okay. So if we lost the ball, okay, we can now immediately transition. Okay. At this point, you know, Marcelo should be the free man. Marcelo should slide over, tell Dibba to take the 9. Okay. Gian should mark both for a second, and then Asher needs, and I trust Asher to do this. He has to get out, or Dibba. If Dibba was here, Dibba and Asher could switch. I trust them to do this, and I guess we'll find out. They have to mark, and Nana has to come in and mark. Okay. At this point, Wilson has to track back. All right, we have to get back in our shape, and then DeAndre's holding. And at this point, we'll realize we have an extra guy, and then we can step out on Ross as well. Or Nas would have already. I mean, it's going to be tough in that middle. I'm not telling you it's going to be a picnic, because, you know, they're going to stay in the middle of the pitch. So marking is not going to be easy. Like, it is not going to be easy, because it's going to be so packed tight. Like, for me, it was clear who to mark when the teams are spread out. Like the team we played last night spread out. It was easy to mark, and we didn't do it. So it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have our focus for this game, because they're going to be rotating in the middle. But we always secure the back first and then step out. And you don't have to win the ball. Let me say this, because this is something that we do, you know, if like Nas ran at Ross here like a maniac before we were set and just let him dribble past, you know, now we're screwed. Like, now they have an advantage, right? They could try to send a ball through. We need to start learning how to contain. We got to stop diving in. Like, no one should DQ. Like, there's way too many guys going past us. Let me show one more thing defensively. Also, this happens too much. Ross receives the ball, and we approach him at this angle. This is a complete mistake. Okay, everybody's marked up. This is a complete mistake. You're already beaten. You're going to make it worse by approaching from the side. We need to stop doing that. Someone tell me how he should handle this. I've gone over it in previous tutorials. Where should Gian go? How should he approach Ross here? Should he approach from the side and go for the steal and try to go for the ball, or what should he do? Someone tell me, please. Because this happened numerous times last night. Anybody still awake?
Wait, can you please repeat the question?
So the guys on the, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the ball under his feet, Ross.
Yeah, so Ross receives the ball, and he's now facing, he's just receiving the ball.
Yeah.
And he has it under control, basically. And Gian got a late start. He's on the side of him. How should he approach this situation?
Gian should go from the side.
Anybody else?
So basically, this is our goal. So Gian, the best position he can do, drop back. So trying to force him outside or something. That I would say. Yes, right.
Gian could, and cover shadow as well.
Yeah.
Even bonus to get a cover shadow. What we did last night, an ungodly amount of times. And here's the thing, our players are good. So a lot of times when they approach from the side, they're successful. Okay? But what happens when you're not successful? This happens. And that happened way too many times. You've just given them superiority. And there was no reason to give them superiority. We just gave it to them. We did that numerous times last night. It is very difficult to generate superiority. That's why I train it all. We try to train it and we talk about it all the time, how to generate superiority via passing. We're gifting the other team superiority through a dribble by taking a bad defensive approach and being overly aggressive. He can also be over aggressive this way by running straight at him and getting out and overrunning him. We just gave him superiority. This is just completely foreign to me as someone. I mean, I've played sports my whole life. Like, this is unacceptable to let a guy beat you. Like, for me, and I always talk about it, like, I get like a knot in my stomach when someone beats me. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, if someone beats me on the pitch and goes by me in a game, I'm old now, but I know, like, it drives me crazy. Like, I can't. They bested you. You can't allow it. And they can dribble to the side. Who cares? Nobody cares. Go ahead. You can't stop that anyway. Can you stop him from dribbling to the side in the middle of the pitch with 360 degrees? Of course not. Can you stop him from dribbling backwards? No. But who cares? What you want to stop is him getting around you and being able to play forward. You want to force a ball sideways, right? And now you could actually press him. Cover shadow, like Annie said, right? DeAndre could even cover shadow, but he could just step in front a little, right? And then we'll see him press. So we have to stop going for steals in the middle of the pitch and even on the sideline. You do that when their back is clearly turned. So if Ross was turned around, you still have to be careful. If you approach from this way and then he spins, you're screwed, right? So you still have to approach it carefully. I would rather you get here and then stop him from turning, and I'll show you on the pitch. But it's as he exposes the ball on a turn is when you go for a steal. But the whole time you keep your body goal side. You don't overcommit and then let them spin around the other way and get around. You just contain. So we have to get better at that. That was very poor last night, And I give credit to Westmont. and they beat us on those balls, and they got the win. But they shouldn't even have been given the chance. So that needs to be fixed like right away on all of our teams. So I hope my explanation of how they play is good, and that is how they'll play. It's going to be very difficult to get into our shape when we lose the ball. When we gain it, let's show again. So now, let's give Wilson back on him so we can see. So if we're normal, now we gain the ball after this. They're in their attacking shape, right? So let's say we win the ball. Marcelo has it. Let's just show how we go into offense because it's very simple. And we need to you don't all have to go forward. We're going to expand outwards and possess the ball. They're not going to press, but it's going to feel like a press from the middle. So this is why I want to expand outwards, and I want to tell you this philosophically why I want to do this. Where are all their players? Here, right? So this is so do we want to try to move the ball through here? Yes or no? Simple question, right? I mean, I'll ask
Absolutely
you.
no, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So the space against a team that plays a 4-2-3-1, where they play with three central attacking mids, the space is here. So this is why we want Wilson to split out as a wing back. Okay. Diba should drop in. Drop out. Let's just leave this space empty. And then they'll be covering who? Nobody. Let them cover nobody there. Just get the hell out. Gian won't be able to stop himself. He'll come in. That's fine. Okay? That's fine. But I don't want him in here. Where do I want Gian? Breaking the line so he's ready to cover Ross again. Okay? So just leave this vacant. Leave it completely vacant. You're just going to play around this mess. We're going to play around that mess. Okay? Now he just plays out to Asher, who plays out to Nana, and we're off to the races. All right? I don't need to go through the rest of it. It's clear we have a clear opening now, right? Even if they happen to have this guy up, it's fine. All right? If they want to go this high up, just DeAndre goes on the other side. So Marcelo has the ball. All right? If this guy was up, DeAndre doesn't have to go here. He just goes here. Now it's going to be great, right? We can, if Marcelo had to play the ball this way, okay, because it's cut off, no worries. Now we have what? Through ball. Now you can step in. Okay, if you see that this guy's covered here. If this guy's covered here, in this lane, you play here to here. All right? If he takes away the line, then DeAndre comes in and you receive. Okay? So these are things we'll go over in the weeks. We'll train some of this tomorrow, but we'll continue to try to train these kind of concepts offensively. But at least this shape will let you see these things. And this is a nice diamond shape along with Gian. Right? So you have a little diamond shape here, as you can see. We call it a rhombus, which is a great shape for attacking, right? Gian could even drop in, dragging this guy down, okay? So that DeAndre could pop in, okay? When that happens, if DeAndre does pop in, the 9 could make the run out this way, right? If they wanted to, okay? Okay, lots of options, right? Play out wide, and then DeAndre makes the run in. So many different combinations we can make. Once we break this line. If you guys can play around this mess to the sidelines quickly. Last night everybody knows we were too slow switching the ball. Sometimes we didn't even try to. It doesn't mean you do it in one switch. You have to play through. You have to play the ball back to Marcelo to turn it. All right. So if we're going to try to play around their 4 central attackers. is going to be the way we try to beat this team. When we get the ball, we're going to expand outwards, get wide, everybody open up the pitch. Okay, again, out here, and we play around them. They'll try to get you, but it'll be too late. Okay, and then we can set up a nice little rhombus here. Okay, Nas, and then play through. All right, to Andy to run on. Lots of options. Okay, so a lot doesn't change. For, we need whoever plays the wingers to mark your man. You got to stay with them. Their fullbacks are going to go forward. And so now let's say we have to transition to a defensive shape. I'll let you guys do it. Go ahead. Let's transition to a defensive shape. Go ahead. Who's got the thing? Just Luke?
I'm still here. I just have to connect.
If you can, just grab try to transition to a defensive shape. So he's moving Nana in to cover one of their attacking mids. Asher dropped in, and we have too many. Wilson's going to come in. This is where it gets tough. Gion's going to run up for Ross, and that's fine because you don't want to do that. Nas is fine. Someone's got to stay back. If Marcelo goes up, someone's got to stay back. And this is where it's going to get tough. It's going to be really tight in there. So we have to trust you guys have to all mark in there. You got to get a man, and then someone's got to yell out they're free, or, you don't want to let them, we don't want to let them an easy escape, because then they will start to do this. If no one's marking this guy, he'll just sit out here. They're not stupid. You know what I mean? And then they'll just, instead of us, if you follow him out here a couple times, they'll stop. Trust me, they'll stop even trying, right? And then they'll just stay. If they stay, they will have no attack. Because what is this guy going to do? He has nobody. He's just going to bomb the ball down, and then we're just going to grab it. So if we stick to the defensive plan and we're disciplined, and you think defense first, and then offensively we open up quickly, okay, you will win the game. You will win the game. We will get a goal, and that's all you'll need. You'll only need a goal. That is all you'll need. If we play proper defense, you'll just need one goal. And we will get, and then, that I don't know when that goal will come. Could come early, could get multiple goals. There's going to be plenty of opportunities if you do what I said on the counterattack. All right. Any questions, or I can stop recording, and then if Marcelo wants me to go over the beginning part, but it's all recorded. I'll try to keep it short. Is there any questions on that?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. So I don't know.
What formation do they play?
They play a 4-2-3-1. So they're in black right here.
Oh, yeah.
So they play with what we'll call a double pivot, which we talked about at the beginning, which is like, it's actually a strong defensive spine in the middle, right? If they can get it, if they turn the ball over here. What their weakness is, so you don't want to attack through the spine, right? Look at this. I mean, this is just like, this is actually a good, if Marcelo was not the free man and got the ball here, it's still a good spine, right? Like, we ain't getting through that. You know what I mean? We'll be foolish to try, right? So their weakness is when they go forward, they have no one to cover. What should happen is these guys should split out, and they don't really do that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So they leave this big hole here. This is the hole you have to exploit for the counter.
Yeah.
When we're on like a goal kick or something, that's not going to be there, right? Obviously, because they're going to be in their shape, right? Okay. They're going to be in like a shape that looks like this, basically. Okay? So that's when we want to spread out, right? In our shape. which is this, to play around this central. They're not, you know what I mean? To play around this. DeAndre's going to get high and wide. Andy's going to get high and wide. And Gian will try to have the first line broken to be able to check into holes to provide some help. He can, you know, check in to one touch the ball, right? And Nas should hang out up high. So if he plays here, Gian should just hold here. There's no reason. And this is what I was kind of getting at Gian for. Is there any reason for Gian to check in here right now?
No.
Why should he not check in? There's an open ball and closed ball concept. So I want to explain what they are real quick. This is an open ball because he can play forward. It's just the terminology they use. So I'm going to use it because you'll hear it at other clubs. It's called an open ball. This is a closed ball. This means, yeah, you might have to try to like run and check in to help or something, right? If he was like right here. Okay? Closed ball, because Marcelo or Abdullah can't play it forward, right? He can play it here. But it's closed ball, all right? Open ball, there's no reason to check in. What are you going to do? Receive the ball where? Why? Right? What does that do? You're just going to get closed down, right?
Yeah.
Like open ball, you should make the run and try to drag this guy out. Like, get the hell out of there. And Dibba can do what? Start coming forward. Like, yeah, because if you're checking into the guy, and then all you're doing is drawing pressure in and allowing more of their attackers to get forward.
Yeah, to close up on you as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I was kind of getting on. Gian, we had lots of problems last night, and these problems are not going to be fixed. Like, that's why I was, I didn't flip out last night, but it hurt to lose, of course. Like, it definitely hurts, like,
Wait,
to
what was
lose,
the score?
especially in that fashion. But like, I do know that like it exposed a lot of our flaws, and we just have to get about the work of fixing them. So
Wait,
it
what was
doesn't
the
happen. 5-0.
Oh. Yeesh.
And everything that could go wrong went wrong.
That shit was pitiful, and I just want to say, hopefully that is the lowest point that this club will ever see, because that was really, in my opinion, that was like the worst game I've ever played or I've been part of. Honestly, it was embarrassing.
It was the first game that I can remember as a coach or a player that I just wanted it to end. Like, I didn't even want to, because I didn't want to overcoach us. Like, I knew everybody was having a bad day. So like, I just wanted it to end. And like, as a teacher and a coach, I rarely have that thought. And I was like, let's just get the hell out of here, because
Yeesh.
if I started like giving corrections, everybody would have been mad at me, because there's just too many. And it was like, we got so far off script that it's like, when some things are so fucked up, you can't fix them. It's like tangled. You know what I mean? Like, the harder you try to untangle it, you knot it again. So I just said, fuck it, just let it go. And it's okay. Like Marcelo said, sometimes, you have to have these things, because to grow, you have to make mistakes.
You're talking about the Barcelona-Real Madrid rivalry. Like, Barca destroyed Madrid a couple. You know what I mean? Like, big clubs have low points too. It's not just the little clubs.
Bro, just look at last week. United and Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. That's another great example. Thank you. Like, even the big clubs, get destroyed sometimes. So I don't think this is like something that is there to be like an example or proof of the fact that we're not a good team. I think everything we've done so far would point to the fact that we have a good team. We definitely have the players, the commitment. We have the coach, right? So yeah, I just wanted to say that was the worst soccer game I've played in a very long time.
Yeah, and then that gotta be a learning experience for everybody. The guy who wasn't there, guys who was there. It's a learning experience for everyone. Like, your club's going down, nobody want to see that. Like, but everybody gotta buy in. It's like, oh yeah, this will be a big loss.
Dude,
You gotta get
they
into it.
outplayed us. Don't get me wrong. Like they weren't a bad team, but we really just beat ourselves more than anything else. It was more of that
That
than
happens, man.
them
They
being.
seemed shocked that they were beating us. Like they were very excited. And I, the coach is a nice guy, Claudio. They seem like a nice group of guys. So like they were generally excited. They didn't think they were going to be like, I don't think they thought they were going to come in like that. So, they were shocked that we were beating ourselves so bad.
So
And it happens.
it really seems like that you guys had a bad day and they had the
Yeah,
best day.
yeah, pretty much, dude. They're like, I don't know the other teams in the tournament, but I was talking to one of my buddies who plays for Lighthouse, and he was saying that that we were going to destroy him. I was like, dude, we barely have 11 players. He was like, well, listen, you guys are going to destroy him. That's like Westmont is not a good team. And to be perfectly honest, they're not a very good team, but we had them playing like they were fucking Barcelona yesterday. Like they literally just carved us apart. A regular team that, on a good day, we beat 5-0. We ended up losing 2-5-0. So,
And we could turn this, we can turn this into a positive.
Yeah.
We can, because I think, turn it into a positive. Like you have to. And Michael Jordan's quote is, he said he missed more game-winning shots than most players have ever even taken or attempted. Because that's what makes you better. You have to make mistakes along the way. You have to get punched in the face to realize what you have to change. It's part of the journey. It sucked, but it's part of the journey. So that's pretty much the rundown on this team. We're going to try to attack them on the edges. To reiterate, a lot of responsibility to find our marks quickly in that middle, to shut it down. The quicker you shut it down. So transitioning to offense. If he's do this, like we said, right now, Gian, they're closing us down here. This is an instance where this is a switch, right? And we want Marcelo to let them know. And if they're not, this is a switch. Because this side is now, we do not have a numerical advantage on this side, right? You see it? So this is an example where last night we were doing this, and then what happens? We were doing things like this. It's just going to get closed down, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to get closed down. Even if he drops in, it's still like, that's a win for them. Sometimes we can do this and bounce it, but that's, if they're covered here, it's all okay. We shouldn't even do it. This ball should be played out to Marcelo, right? And we don't even need Asher to go wide. It's Nana. Whoever's playing the wing back should be here to break that line of this guy. This is the guy that you're covering anyway. So you want to start to get to know, and this is what I want you to do. The advantage of EPSL is, we have a couple minutes. The advantage of EPSL in leagues like it, that are these high-level leagues, you can't just sub in and out. So it's a real league. So you can get to know the tendencies of your direct opponent and then outsmart them, outplay them. So like, if Nana's here, he needs to start to, Nana's a smart player. Like, you need to figure out, okay, where does this guy like to go? I'm just going to like break his line. Ball gets played out to man. Asher, you're watching him. If he's closing in, just slide so you can break it. And then Asher can let him draw in until, boom, you play it and you're gone. All right? And now you have a 2v1. And now this is an open ball. So Andy shouldn't check in, right? Andy should hold. And then you could actually start to dribble in, right? And then if he comes to you, boom. All right? So you get to know your opponent and outplay them. We need to do, that's the next level we want to take in this EPSL. We've chosen this man-to-man defense. It's perfect for it. To find out who your guy is, and you have 90 minutes to fuck with him. All right? And to find out what he does and where he positions himself. and you're going to, and then if we lost the ball, okay, let's see the transition. So if we did lose the ball here somehow, let's say, Asher sent it and maybe it was intercepted, right? Andy's out of position. So what do we have to do here? This is an example of we're still in a good shape because look at, I'm pointing at my hand, you can't see it. Look at all these guys back here. We're not going to get, remember Marcelo was asking before, is like, how do we stop these like breakaways, right? Well, there's no way they should get a breakaway now because we're kind of like all spread out for this game, right? There should be no way. All right. So what do we have to do? Well, Andy has to recover. So what we don't want to do is have Nana try to step in. That would be a mistake, right? And we need to not do that. You need to let Andy recover. And this is the thing, guys. You can't have the wingers be lazy and just say, oh, well, I'm going to bench guys. Like, I'm hoping to have enough subs this weekend. I hope I do. I'm going to bench a player. If they just like take off here, no. They just sit there. You got to chase this guy down. Nana should be doing what? Contain. All right. Asher, all right, needs to drop in and he's got to find somebody, right? So now in this moment, obviously the closest player is Gion's got to mark here. Yeah.
Wait, cool question. Do you think Nana should do a cover shadow also, or be ready to enter?
I would. He could. It depends on if Andy gets. I wouldn't do it right away. I don't know that I would do it right away unless you got to kind of size out. He can do it and come here. I would look behind first and make sure that I'm covered just in case, because it would be a disaster if like he just laid it out like this now.
100%.
Yeah, so I think I would prefer, this is not a cover shadow situation. This is a hold on, let's recover. It's called Andy's going to recover here. We might have to let him gain some ground, but what we don't want is to get this. So Nana should recover. Okay. And then everyone, it might not be the same guy you had. We have to mark the guys furthest away from the ball. So Gian might need to be called back actually at that moment, right? We don't know. So Marcelo's going to figure out, okay, he's going to yell to Dibba, yo, Dibba, right? Come in. Wilson. And now we still have an extra man. He's got to call somebody back. They're going to yell to DeAndre. He's got to track back, right? And cover. Because maybe Asher got caught all the way over here. So Marcelo, you're going to have to fix that side. Even, if you can get Asher back in time, then it would have been fine, right? But you always have to defend the back, even if you have to call DeAndre back. This would have been optimal, right? And then Nas just goes here. But once Asher got caught maybe way over, right? At that moment, like, you got to call guys back. You got to get Dibba here. Okay, and then you got to yell to somebody to come back. And whether it's Nas, yell to Nas. Nas, we need help. Nas comes back. Wilson goes out. All right, but you got to bring the guys back. Start yelling to them. Bring them back. Always defend the back first. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And we did a good job of that, I feel like. So my question was this: Is Dib going to be back there to start the game on Sunday, most likely?
Who?
Dibba, because I know Gavin's out. Gavin won't be there on Sunday.
Yes, Dibba says he's going. I don't know who I'm putting where yet. You know what? Let me stop the tape, and we can let me stop the recording because it's 9 o'clock.